Oh boy, everybody loves talking about indicators of health. Ooh. Yeah, they're important. And as we look into different graphs showing population in a different way, this is going to be important for you to know specifically on how to read a population pyramid. So, this is section 2.9. Yeah, 2.9 in the um, geography textbook, either online or in class. And for right now, you're in class, right? So, hey, indicators of health. So, this is the section. There's a couple of stats here that measure indicators of health. One, infant mortality rate. It's the annual number of deaths of infants under 1 year of age compared with live births, and life expectancy. And on the next page, you'll see examples of those population pyramids where being able to read a population pyramid is going to be very beneficial to you, specifically when we start adding to our atlas. That's right, we're getting back to our atlas. Oh, hooray. All right, so without further ado, indicators of health. Infant mortality rate and life expectancy are important measures of health. Demographic and health patterns create distinctive distributions of population by age. Countries possess different resources to care for people who are sick. Two important indicators of health in a country are the infant mortality rate and life expectancy. And as described before, the infant mortality rate is the annual number of deaths of infants under 1 year of age compared with live births. Lower IMRs, or infant mortality rates, are found in countries with well-trained doctors and nurses, modern hospitals, and large supplies of medicine. The infant mortality rate is 5 in developed countries and 80 in sub-Saharan Africa, meaning that 1 in 12 babies die there before reaching their first birthday. And what you can see here is just a little bit of a graph. Again, it's once you get to the CIA website and you start looking at these different rates for different countries with like infant mortality rate, if you have a country that has a higher infant mortality rate, it's definitely a measure. And then next is life expectancy. Life expectancy at birth measures the average number of years a newborn infant can expect to live at current mortality levels. Life expectancy is most favorable in wealthy countries of Europe and least favorable in the poor countries of sub-Saharan Africa. Babies born today can expect to live to nearly 80 in Europe, but only less than 60 in sub-Saharan Africa. So again, things to consider in terms of policy. If you have a country with a higher infant mortality rate, there might be signals of something else going on there besides, poor healthcare services. Here we go, population pyramids. A population pyramid is a bar graph that displays the percentage of a place's population for each age and gender. A country that is in stage 2 of the demographic transition has a pyramid with a broader base than that of a country in stage 4. So, looks like our examples here. Above, we have the United States. And again, these are older population pyramids. What I would suggest that you do, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it anyways, is go to the CIA website, click on any country, specifically a country within your region, and begin to think about those age ranges. In this video, I'll pull one up from the CIA website. We'll take a look at it. So these things up here are explained. The Gambia, which is this one here, it's in stage 2 of the the demographic transition, which means a lot of births, decreasing death rate, as you can see. not a lot of folks living to be at a higher age. Um, it has a population pyramid with a broader base than that of Mexico or Denmark, which is in stage 3 and 4. Mexico's in stage 3, Denmark's in stage 4. The graph shows, back to the stuff over here on the left, the graph shows the percentage of the total population in 5-year age groups, with the youngest 0 to 4 at the base and the oldest at the top. The length of the bar represents the percentage of the total population contained in that group. By convention, males are shown on the left side of the pyramid and females are on the right. Another important stat here, the dependency ratio. The dependency ratio is the number of people who are too young or too old to work compared to the number of people in their productive years. The larger percentage of dependents, the greater the financial burden on those who are working to support those who cannot. People who are 0 to 14 years of age and 65 plus are normally classified as dependents. So if you're looking at a population pyramid, if you're looking at the top and there's not a lot of folks in that particular age range, that means, okay, the population isn't as old, less support for the elderly. If there is not like lesser amounts at the bottom, which means younger, not as many young folks, less support there for them. And all you have to think about are what old people need to have their life sustained. So like medical services, doctors, nurses, pensions. If you think about what younger folks need, early childhood education, uh, nurseries, preschools, um, you know, being fed in school, all of that takes tax money. And what we're looking at here is the middle part of a population pyramid that's going to support both the pensions of the older folks and the stuff that younger folks need. Schooling, healthcare, you name it. So getting back, 1/3 of the people in the developing countries are under the age of 15 compared to only 1/6 in developed countries. The large percentage of children in developing countries strains their ability to provide needed services such as schools, hospitals, and daycare centers. When children reach the age of leaving school, jobs must be found for them, but the government must continue to allocate scarce resources to meet the needs of the still growing number of young people. As countries pass through the demographic transition, they face increasing percentages of older people who must receive adequate levels of income and medical care after they retire from their jobs. The graying of the population places a burden on governments in developed countries to meet those needs. The elderly support ratio is the number of working age people, 15 to 64, divided by the number of persons 65 and older. As the ratio gets smaller, fewer workers are available to contribute to pensions, healthcare, and other support that older people need. And again, there's a lot of information to take in here. So I say we just go straight to the CIA website so you can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Because again, the great thing about this resource is it's essentially it's like a textbook about specific countries. So let's go ahead and find us. Why not? Why not? Let's find the United States. And what you can do here is scroll down, you click on the People and Society tab, and oh, look, there's the population. Needed that. All right. It's got a little bit of a breakdown in terms of ethnic groups: 72% white, 12% black, 12% Asian, or Indian, blah, 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 blah. Languages, yay. Religions, hooray. Age structure, here we go. And what we want to do is just take a broad look at the percentage of people in this part. So, 18, less than 20% of the population is 0 to 14. That's dependent. 16% is also dependent. in theory. And we have, the 15 to 24 range, which is the beginning essentially of your productive years. A majority of the population is 25 to 54, which again looks good. Looks good. 12% is aging out, and then again 16% 65 and older. And then we can look at a population pyramid, and these are really fun to look at, specifically when you think about what a country needs. So as you can see, we've got a smaller base. So a majority of our population it's kind of in the middle, which means a majority of Americans right now are working. And as this population goes down at the top, why is that? Well, older folks die, you know, um, it's a fact of life. That's what we're looking at with the dependency ratio, and it starts right about in here. So as you can see, there's a couple of like a large line here and a large line here. The 60 to 64 and the 55 to 59, those are beginning to move up top, which means there's going to be a few million people that are going to need supports and services. And then down here, the 25 to 29 and 30 to 34, those are also quite large. So in theory, the younger generation is going to help support the older generation as it begins to age out. And then there's a few population dips in here. So as the population pyramid progresses up through time, you want to see that, one, there's a good amount of kids coming down the pike, because that's how a population is sustained. But we also want to see those larger parts of the middle that are that working age that will provide those supports. It's like when I get my paycheck, okay, parts of my paycheck are going to contribute to pension, Social Security. And again, it's all about perception here in how we take care of generations of people that may need or may not need our support. Younger folks, we want to make sure that you're educated. Hey, so as a society, we need teachers to educate them, people to work in schools to make sure that the schools are clean, people to serve food. We also need services to provide health care, not just for a regular doctor visit, but those early checkups when you're young, like, you got to go to the doctor once a year. You're elderly, you feel a little pain in your chest, I guess you got to go to the doctor. So you got to think about a society's amount of nurses, doctors. Access to healthcare is very important. All of that matters. So let's get rid of that population pyramid and let's go to another country. And the one that's mentioned in your book is the Gambia. So let's keep that there. Let's go find the Gambia and go to countries. The Gambia begins with a G. There we go. All right, so same thing. Thank you, CIA website. Population is 2 million. Breakdown of the ethnic groups, demographic profile. All right, so here we go. And as you can see, this population pyramid looks a little bit different because it looks like there's not as many old folks that are in the Gambia. Okay, why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons that you can look into. But all I know is that, until you do your research, the only thing that you can do is essentially see that, wow, a good chunk of the population is very young. And looky here, the 15 to yeah, the 15 to 19 doesn't look as broad as that as the top. And you can just see that this isn't necessarily a, a healthy indicator for the Gambia, because there's going to be a large amount of people that need support from that middle part of the population pyramid. And what happens if there isn't a lot of support? And clearly, there's not a lot of older folks in the Gambia. So, do they have access to medical services at at an easier clip than us? Who knows? Okay, and then let's chat. Let's just keep having a little bit more fun here. Let's go to countries. Alrighty then. Let's take a look at China. Everybody was worried about that one-child policy. Um, like a lot of you, when you were doing that e-learning assignment, you're like, well, the one-child policy is going to have an impact on population. Yeah, and here, once you look at the, no, see, number one in the world. Once you look at the population pyramid, you can literally see it. So we have that one child policy that's just now begun to be phased out. Like they started phasing that out in 2015. And the one child policy was essentially started in 1980 to, recently. So there was a 35 year history, recent history of China, where families were very much encouraged to have less children. And looky here. Now, China still has a very large population. That's not a lie, right? You just saw it. It's the number one population in the world. There, see it? Boom. Okay. Now, with that being said, China right now has a majority of its population in those productive years, which is relatively good because it can provide support to the people at the top of the pyramid, and it can provide support to the people at the bottom of the pyramid. But long term, China's population, just by looking at this, it might go down simply because the people in the middle of that pyramid, specifically from like 15 to 19 range to the 30 to 34 range, those are like the quote prime reproductive years for a population. So just by looking at this, you can pretty much assume that China's population is very much going to go down. Does it have the supply of services? Does it have the ability to supply services? The answer is probably yes. But long term, because their base is much smaller than that of the middle, China wants that base to be a little bit more broad if their population is going to extend. And with that being said, there's also issues with, everything else that's going on in that particular country. China is a very large country geographically, not just based on population. And are they properly utilizing their resources within that country to provide support for a population? I would say that China's population can be sustained more if they utilize scientific advances. That's just a guess. Population pyramids are fun, okay? They will give you a good insight into what a country's population looks like, and more importantly, it's going to give you a good indicator of the quote health of that particular country. So that is my little bit about population pyramids and how you can use that to essentially see how healthy a country's population is. Have a good one.